Okay, this is a video on SmartGrid. Try to give a little detail here. We'll go through, we'll create one, and then we'll jump over to the dashboard and you can see it working against some other controls. So we'll go ahead and we'll add SmartGrid here. Okay, I'm just going to add a few controls. So I'm going to pick all my outside lights, for example. So I'll go down to garage lights. So we'll just do the individual ones left and right. I'll go down the patio, left and right. And I'll go down to the front porch light. I'll do that. I'll add those. And see, those are added down here. Now I'm actually going to add some more. I'm going to add some lights, some indoor lights now. Left and right. There we go. Okay, so this is that. Just as a demonstration here. So this is put all those controls into a table here. This is similar to how it's going to look on the dashboard, maybe it's a tiny bit different. I can adjust this height and width. I prefer not to see it scrolling, so I'm just going to change that. And now we can see all the devices on here. Now you can see the various elements. I can multi-select here if I wish to turn on a lot of things at once. The icon shows the current state. So for example, the bedroom fan is running on medium, so this is going at a medium speed. Most of these are turned off. This office light, the left and right, are turned on. They've got the yellow background and they're not grayed out. And they have some the settings. So here's the state and the font I can call control AB. So generally speaking, there's a primary and sometimes a secondary. So for a light, the primary is the dimmer, and the secondary, the B side, is actually the color temperature. A fan does not have an AB, it just has an A. And then there's what we call Control C, and you can actually change these titles if you prefer, which shows the color for color bulbs. So the minimum that we have to do here before we can start doing anything is to go ahead and publish this. So we'll say it's, we'll pick remote, and we'll call this demo. And we'll publish and subscribe. All right, so now we have a functional table here. You'll see things are sorted by the name. If I wish, I could sort by icon, or reverse sort by icon. I could sort by state. So if I wish to, let's just put this back into name order. And I'm going to go ahead and just turn off the left light in my office. You'll see the border turns orange while it's in that intermediate state, and then green when it completes. So what does that mean? When I click on the thing, I send the command, it goes orange to indicate there's a command outstanding. When that value gets set and it gets confirmed by the hub, then it turns green to show that it's been confirmed. If I tried to control a device that was not reachable, it would turn orange to say it was indicated that I was trying to make a change, and it would turn red if that change failed, which it would if the device was unreachable. Touch on a few other things here. I won't go into all the details. You can see there's a lot of controls, and a lot of these are similar to Tile Builder. We've got these kind of very general appearance. If I wanted to just change, for example, a color scheme, let's just change it to green. I can apply that theme. And now we've got a different look and feel there. I can add a title if I wish. So we'll just add one here. Okay, now we've got a background. We'll turn off that background color. And we'll just make a background opacity of 0, so it's transparent. Okay, that's what it looks like there. Now on columns, there's some very useful and important information here. I have a number of columns here that I can actually choose to hide or not hide. If I don't want the multi-select, for example, I can turn that off. And now if we go over and we click on the Columns tab, we can control which columns are visible and which ones are hidden. For example, we may not want the multi-select columns. Let's just pretend we don't. We'll turn that off and see that disappears. There's also info columns. There's 3 of these available, and we can just turn those on for now. And see those show up. So the first one of those is last active. It says last time something was on or locked or open or wet, depending on the device and type in question. The duration, and the room that they're in. Now these settings are configurable. I will just turn off a couple of these, and we'll just turn off those two. And this is kind of what our grid looks like now. So if I wish to sensors to this, I come over to sensors, and let's just select a couple of contact sensors just for the hell of it. Office door, there we go. Okay. All right, so those come in, they have a tilde, so they're actually going to be sorted ahead of the other ones. We can fix that though. We go to rename devices here, and we'll just say 2. So we're going to search for tilde, and we're going to replace it with nothing. We'll just do a space. Changes. Okay, so I get rid of that tilde there. So we search for anything with a tilde in it and replace it with a space. So now our table is a little cleaner now. I'll just publish that again. And, you know, that's very useful. You can obviously put things in anything in there that you want, depending on what it is that you're interested in. Now, I think we covered the clickable nature of the headings for columns, but we can go in and do what we call custom rows here. So I'm going to add a couple of custom rows. We'll just say 3 rows. Oh, we'll say contacts. Let's do that. If we come down here, you see that there is none of these additional rows that we've added yet. That's because they're only available when you have a custom sort. So we're going to turn on the custom sort here. Now, if we scroll down, we'll see that our 3 custom rows have been added here. Now I'm going to rearrange this a little bit. I'm going to enable drag and drop there. And I'm just going to change the height here so I can see things a little better. Okay, I'll just rearrange these. So I'm going to put the contacts up here. One's up there. Back door. Okay, so we kind of rearrange things to the way that we like. And now I'm going to save that custom sort. Okay, so now that I've done that, these are no longer, sorry, this one is clickable, but the sort is no longer clickable. That's because when we're in a custom sort mode, that is the only sort order that is observed. And now that we've rearranged things, it's always going to stay in that order. Now, if I want to, I can actually condense these. If I don't always want to see my contacts, I can just close that. The other thing I can do, there's actually 2 ways to approach this. The most common way is if I want to have a filtered list, if I click on here, hold it down for 2 seconds, I can change my contacts and only show the open contacts. And that's a better list now. So if I close the contact, I have a contact right in front of me here, it disappears. If I open the contact on the next post cycle, it will reappear. Simple as that. So anyway, so I'm going to publish this again, and then we'll take this up and take a closer look at it on the dashboard. Okay, well, this is the slightly modified version of the table we were working on earlier. I added a few other types of devices, and but fundamentally it's very, very similar. So just want to demonstrate how this works in relation to a standard dashboard. You actually don't have to put it on a dashboard if you don't wish to. You can actually just run it directly from the browser using the endpoint, which means you can access it directly from a cell phone or a tablet or whatever without needing the dashboard. But it's helpful in this case to demonstrate. So I'm going to go down the list a little bit. The top thing there's a contact. I have a contact here that's open. It's the office door. I'm just going to close that. You'll see the office door, this one here goes green, and then shortly after, the contact in the table responds by closing because it's only showing open contacts. We'll just reverse that, and the kind of similar thing applies. Here we have the front door. It's currently locked. I'm going to unlock it. Are you sure? Yes. And a lock is something that's a little slow to respond, but you can see it's very, very similar here. And then I'll just flip it this way. and so on. Patio speakers is actually a virtual device. I don't have patio speakers, but I just wanted to demonstrate. So, for example, we set it to 90%, then it gets set to 90%. There is an on-off, so this is functionally a mute. So I'm just going to turn that on there to unmute it. Blinds, here's the blinds here. There's 12%, but I don't have one that shows the tilt. So in this case, I'm just going to let's use the multi-select here. So let's say we wanted to have those 100% closed. We can just do that. And there they go on the blinds there. And likewise, I could just set a common tilt. Let's say it's tilt 100% closed. And now this doesn't reflect that, but that's the limit of the dashboard templates as far as I can tell. So a virtual valve, this guy here. So I click on that one and sure you want to close the valve. Yes. And see it's going to change. So here we have the patio left and right. Again, those are lights. We didn't demonstrate that, but they work very, very similar. So I'm going to uncheck those. We'll pick the patio left and right. These are only dimmers. They don't have a color attribute to them. So I'm going to turn them on. And there they go, they're on. And I'm going to dim them down to, let's say, 30%. Oops. Well, I actually still had these office lights selected, so those dimmed as well, but no harm done. So we'll just repeat that. So with these ones, we'll go up to, let's say, 87%. There we go. You'll see the value set to 87. Porch light, that's a color. We'll demonstrate that in a second. This is just a switch. This is the basement light, which is this switch here. So we'll just switch that on. There it goes. Switch it off. There it goes again. The fan. So the fan has both a switch component as well as 3 selectable speeds, low, medium, and high. This is the bedroom fan here. You can't really see it in the video, but where my pointer is pointing, it actually says high, but it's too small to read. But I'm just going to turn that off. You'll see the icon has changed on the bedroom fan. If I click on that, and we'll say medium, and this changes and goes to medium. So pretty straightforward. I don't need to repeat it for the sunroom fan. And lastly, let's do these office lights, left and right. They're directly above my head right now. You'll see, okay, so we can multi-select those if we want. We could change the value of the dimmer, for example, make that 100%. Feel them brightening above my head. You can see the response there. If I go up and change this, AB, it shows me the color temperature control, and I can set this to something different if I wish. I can see those change above my head. There's no change indicated on the template, but if I click on it, it should show the same color temperature, 3676. Lastly, let's do the actual color. So we click on here. Let's pick a green color. Do that. And now they both changed their color to green. And if we flip that on its head, now I'll go and change using the Office template, or using the Hubitat template, I should say. We'll change that one to whatever color that is there. And just now change that here so it looks identical. So that's a quick summary of showing the comparison between using the traditional Hubitat controls on the dashboard or just using the SmartGrid.